Whether you live in your camper van full-time or simply want to make the best use of it over the winter months, then this video is for you. Living a van over the winter involves a little planning, but is by no means a no-go. Obviously, all of my suggestions are dependent on your own personal finances and, of course, the energy setup of your van. Most small camper vans have a leisure battery of sorts, and all the suggestions I'm going to make are based on wild camping and not when plugged into electric hookup. Because let's face it, if you're plugged in, just get a normal heater and use the electric you're paying for. I have put links to all the products I'm going to mention in the description of this video, but please do add your own suggestions in the comments so that we can all help each other with ideas. Now, I was lucky enough to buy my van ready converted and the insulation had already been done. But if you're at the stage of building a van, maybe consider insulation for the floor, the walls and the ceiling. Windows are your weak point. I have thermal blackout curtains, which are great for retaining heat and keeping out light. And they're also quick to use, unlike the window covers that you stick on, because these have no storage. They're already on the window. If you don't have that luxury, you can buy or make magnetic insulation covers that stick to the metal around the windows. Mine are just thermal blackout covers. The ones made with insulation can be a bit bulky to store, so just be mindful of this before buying. Whatever you choose, the cab is your downfall. Covering the windows at night and blocking off the front of the van from the rear will really help with heat retention. I've made a simple blackout thermal sheet for stealth camping, which folds into just this, next to nothing really, and it hooks on these two hooks and covers here and tucks into the pop top, and that allows the back not to be seen from the cab, and also I can use it to keep the back warm. But I've also got window covers for the front, as you've seen, the magnetic ones, and I've got one for the inside of the windscreen. There are some that go on the outside, there are some that have insulation. Go and do your research of whatever's going to suit you and your van and your ability to store them. The ones I have that do my front window and two inside windows, I'll stick a link below, but these go into this size bag. So for me, this pretty much keeps me warm and keeps the light out and keeps me in stealth mode. It's worth mentioning I picked these particular ones to go on the inside of the van because if I'm going to do wild camping, I want to be able to escape easily, and having to get out of the van to take the window cover off to then do one isn't very helpful. And I didn't feel very safe with that. So I decided to get these on the inside, and they do have little press-doors down, so you might not like that, you know, each to their own. But they're easy to whip down from the inside, and then I can drive off. Now, there are three main types of heating systems for camper vans: wood burner, propane or gas, or a diesel heater. Now, I've got a diesel heater. This is the vent, this is the controls. This is a heater that takes the diesel directly from your engine tank to provide warmth through this vent in the van. The one I have is designed to stay at a chosen temperature and will always leave enough diesel in the tank for driving the van in the morning. A few things to note about a diesel heater is you do need a leisure battery, as the pump that runs it needs electric. And this particular make is an Eberspacher. It's an expensive make, but there are, however, cheaper Chinese alternatives. You can find a number of mixed reviews on YouTube about these, but if you're watching this and you have one of these, can you please put a comment below for other people to tell us what you think? What's your experience? Now, there is nothing quite like a real fire in the depths of winter. A small wood burner provides a cosy, cheap, welcome heat, and some burners even have the ability to pop a pan or a kettle on top to make use of the free heat. However, there are a few things to consider. Number one, if you only have a wood burner, you are either utterly freezing or utterly roasting. Wood burners make it very hard to manage the temperature in a small space. I always think that the ideal solution, if money was no object, would be both a wood burner and a diesel heater. Cosy nights in winter by the fire, and pop the diesel heater on for a quick warm up in the morning. Building a wood burner can be done yourself, but please use all the correct heat safe guidance. There is loads of information and videos on YouTube to help you, so do your research before you start. Number 3, a small wood burner takes a good corner of your van, and if you have a tidgy van like mine, it's probably not worth it. And lastly, consider where you're intending to travel. There is no need for a wood burner unless you plan to travel in very cold climates. Cheap skiing holidays would be a great idea. And the third option is propane or gas. Now, I don't have much experience of gas heaters, so if you do, add some info in the comments for others to read. Gas heaters offer cheap, instant heat, and if planned into a build wisely, the tanks can be easily filled at most fuel stations. The only major thing to note is to get yourself a CO2 detector. They are cheap enough to buy, like 15 quid, and a good idea in any camper, even if you just have a gas hob. Now, not everyone can afford a new diesel heater or a wood burner, so I'm now going to share some ideas that are simple and cheap. Just before I do, if you haven't already subscribed to the channel and would like to, it costs absolutely nothing and really helps us out. And you just need to click the red subscribe icon under this video. We share our adventures in our T5 VW camper van, along with tips and tricks of van life or van living. You can also find us or follow us on Instagram, TikTok, Pinterest and Facebook. So in my pillowcases, I have a whole load of pillows, like pillows for sleeping, but I also have a whole load of blankets. So blankets, of course, are a must, but try to get wool blankets. Merino wool if you don't like the itch. They are massively warmer than acrylic alternatives. They're a bit more expensive, but definitely worth it for keeping warm. So these electric blankets, this is a particularly good one. This is a USB electric blanket. So you can either plug it into a USB like that and use your cigarette lighter, or just use your USB in your camper van if you're in the back. They're not as good as the 240 wattage ones, the 3-pin plug, but they do warm up and it is quite nice on a cold day. All hail the hot water bottle. So not only is a hot water bottle super cheap and super easy, but you actually warm a small space just by putting the kettle on and heating up some water. And a little tip, you can pour it out in the morning into the washing up bowl to do your pots that you couldn't be bothered doing the night before. Now, apparently, the rule that we lose most of our heat through our head and feet is in fact a myth. But if you stick a hat on and wear socks, well, you're definitely warmer. Oh, now, I've done a video on this before, but if you haven't seen it, I'll stick a link above there. If you prefer a duvet, a higher tog, the higher the tog, the warmer the duvet, but the larger it is to store. I would suggest still getting a larger size than your bed, so that you can wrap it around you at night. But if you prefer a sleeping bag, smaller to store, you really do get what you pay for. So looking for a 4-season bag will be worth the money. Maybe even a hiking sleeping bag will be super warm, but I just get claustrophobic and can't bear it. So now, I read this book years ago about a lady who travelled around Scotland in a Mazda Bongo with no heating at all in the middle of winter. Now, she said that wearing silk pyjamas helped. I googled it for this video and this is what it said. Due to its natural protein fibres, silk has a high surface moisture wicking, meaning it keeps you warmer in the winter and cooler in the summer. So that's a good excuse for some nice new silk pyjamas. So unless you're sleeping in the pop top, it's a lot warmer in a camper like mine to sleep downstairs on the rock and roll bed with the pop top down. Of course, if your only option is sleeping in the pop top, then perhaps a thermal wrap is a must. I've done a video on how to make one for under 50 quid and I'll pop a link above here. But you can buy them, they're just rather expensive. Anyway, go and watch the video because I've explained it all in there. Personally, I'd put the pop top down and sleep underneath. On colder days, plan your adventure. Most museums are free nowadays and offer a change of scenery in bad weather. And going to a gym for a swim is not only an opportunity for exercise, but also a free shower. And finally, using local libraries is a great way to get warm and get some work done. So other ideas for keeping warm include cleaning, exercise. I did too. Probably just got my fat arse on that, didn't I? In conclusion, using your camper van in the depths of winter can be done. If you have any other ideas, please share them below in the comments section so that, you know, we can help each other. And if all else fails, drive to a hotter climate or just get yourself a Dave. And keeping out light. And they're also very quick to use, unlike stupid thing. You had to fall over at that point. Guidance. There's a load of YouTubes on delete. Let's try again. The money longer term. And I'll just do that again because I slipped up. Let's go. Oh, I need to take my hat off.